me straight up to my face. Straight up to my face.
What's up, YouTube? It's J Moore. So what am I playing that song for as an introduction? Well, on this video, we're going to talk about how to operate in the courtroom. This would be really good for new people who have not been in the courtroom yet, and it's always good to just keep on growing as far as knowledge goes about anything you can learn about how to operate in these courtrooms, because I think it's pretty clear by now, guys, that you got to go to court. There's no paperwork magic trick for this, especially not after you get in. And maybe if you understand contract law really well, and as soon as you get some correspondence from them when they're trying to get you on child support, if you know how to counteract that, you could probably do it through paperwork. But once you're on it, guys, you're gonna have to go in the courtroom. I don't think there's many people that are gonna get it done any other way. So let's learn. How are we gonna learn? When I was going to work today, I threw it on a Rick W show. I just picked a random one. I've heard them all, so sometimes I just like to hear videos over, see if I pick up anything. So I ended up, it was this quo warranto hearing. I think the last one he had where he actually finally got this case thrown out. I just thought, man, this would be a really good some really good teaching points in here, because I applaud how we handled himself in there, because when you've been in there, or you just realize how these people operate, they are constantly picking at little holes to try to find so that they can say, so that they can get a reason to throw it out, or to not grant you your motion, to keep you on child support. They have a real strong incentive to do that. So they're just poking and poking and poking and trying to find the weakness in the armor, or the armor being how you represent yourself in there and argue your case. And once they find it, that's usually probably going to be the reason they write down in their, opinion or whatever for why they didn't grant you your motion. And it's just crazy. So I wanted to play the video for you, just a couple little segments. I'm actually going to play quite a bit, but it's actually pretty long. He's got like 3 or 4 of them, and I recommend everybody watch those and try to learn from them, kind of try to analyze them, how I'm showing you, so that you can just be a little more well prepared when you go in there and hopefully get your case dismissed finally. That's the goal, guys. So we're just gonna get right into it. Actually, beforehand, I did want to mention also, I said I had a hearing coming up Monday. I've been working so much, my days are a little screwy, guys. Sorry. So yeah, Saturday night right now. So Monday I had a hearing scheduled. Well, I got home from work last night. Guess what I got in the mail? Some correspondence from the judge, or the judge's office, anyways. Now, the other 2 times I went for a hearing, I didn't get no correspondence before the hearing, even though technically I'm supposed to have an answer from the opposing party. But they don't ever do that. So I didn't get any correspondence. Now this time I do. I was hoping it was a dismissal. It wasn't, guys. But it was a notice to appear. And basically what they did was move my hearing date out 1 week. Now, this is what I'm talking about, guys. These guys play a lot of games. What I have a feeling they're doing this so that, because they're trying to accomplish something. Now, in my personal opinion, I don't think they want me bringing these arguments into the courtroom anymore. And while that opposing attorney is in there, I have pretty much come to the conclusion after the last hearing that this guy, I don't know if he's reading my paperwork or what, but he doesn't seem to get it. So I think he's like, I think he thinks I'm nuts or something. And he doesn't know why he has to keep showing up to these hearings. In fact, the guy even tried to send me some type of order a couple weeks ago talking about how he's entitled to this and that type of judgment, and or whatever, because he had to show up. Or I didn't even read the laws because I'm like, it's void anyways, because I wasn't notified of whatever hearing this was where this order got established, so I wasn't even worried about it. But I could tell he's getting irritated with having to come and he's supposed to be defending his case for why I'm supposed to be on child support, by rebutting the laws that I'm bringing forward, but he doesn't do anything. He just comes in there and he's, oh, I've been real busy lately. I haven't had time to answer. Just it's crazy. They threw me off, and I didn't argue the fact that they didn't rebut my affidavit, even though I'm sure she would have moved past it anyway. But I still, would have been prepared to argue that if I thought this guy was actually just not gonna answer. I thought he was gonna have some type of answer when he showed up, maybe, even though he should have served me beforehand. I thought maybe he'd still have one, and he never did. And I'm just like, this is nuts, man. This place is not it. You have to follow all the rules, but they don't. That's pretty much how it works. So, yeah, guys. So let's get into this. Or did I finish? I'm sorry. I lost my train of thought. I had a couple of drinks. I'm trying to relax. I've been working like a dog, so excuse me if I lose my train of thought a little bit. What? Let me just make sure before I start this video that I didn't. Oh yeah, so I think basically they don't want to expose them to any more of my arguments because my arguments are pretty strong. Even if I was wrong, it would be a hell of an argument, but they're not wrong because they're backed up by law. So they don't, they don't want to expose him to that anymore. So I think what they're probably gonna do, and this is just my guess, they're gonna have him show up to the hearing, and I'm not gonna be there because they send me correspondence to come to a hearing next week. And when he comes in and sees that I'm not there, he's gonna, if they even have a hearing, he'll just say, he's not here to prosecute or whatever, dismiss, blah blah blah. And he'll, I don't know, he'll be like, okay, it's over. And then next week, I'm going to be in there either by myself or with my mother's children as well. And they might even, because they claim in the letter that they sent her a copy too of the notice to appear next week. Now, I don't know. That might be a lie. They might have her at the same hearing Monday too. And they're both just sitting there and I don't show up and they think, okay, well, he lost. And then I'm in there by myself next week. So I'm hoping they're doing it because they're going to dismiss and they don't want any witnesses. Or, this is interesting, guys. I really don't know what to expect, but I'm pretty sure they're doing something a little funny. But I really think it's just they don't want that attorney in there anymore because I don't think they want to see a self-represented guy come in there and kill child support. Because if he doesn't know, I'm sure they want to keep it that way. Because like I said, it seems like he just does. He still believes in child support, so they probably don't want to rock his world with that, to witness that. But we'll see. I'll update you guys. But anyways, here we go. We're gonna listen to this real great educational knowledge right here for you guys. Learn how to operate it here. These guys are tricky.
It is now 11:09. This matter is on for the return date for various, I believe most of them are writs. You labeled them all as writs.
I label writ an objection Judicial notice.
And one is a notice of motion and writ of discovery.
Yes.
The objections aren't on the court's calendar.
I-
Those are handled without a calendar appearance, that there'll be, papers are submitted, and the court will render a decision. And that will be mailed to
Did you receive my notice of special appearance?
Yes.
So, as a special appearance, I'm wondering what evidence this court had to retroactively increase support on a stipulation settlement agreement that was rendered during divorce proceedings, when the New York State Constitution is very clear that without an unforeseen and substantial or unreasonable change of circumstances, family court has no concurrent jurisdiction in regards to stipulation settlement agreements, because Article 6, Section 13B, 4 has support that originates in family court, except incidental to divorce agreements in New York State. I've never seen any evidence, sir. I've been forced to suffer. I've been coming here about 17, 18 times. I read your response to an objection where I was told I had to be here on July 24th, 2014. I was never notified. I was living in Florida. At the time, if you don't mind, sir, my daughter, I've been paying child support for my daughter when my daughter graduated college in May of 2014. And now that I'm $18,000, this is based upon child support for 2 children. I'm paying $24.50 a month for one son who's over the age of 21. And I'm only supposed to be paying $697 biweekly, which at the time we were divorced was the maximum amount of child support on the, combined parental income. So,
The order in
and
divorce.
yes, sir. Yes,
Is that
and
Judge Strauss?
yes, sir.
Oh, Judge.
Yes,
Okay,
and
I'm sorry.
yeah, and I came here, 6 years ago, thinking that I'm going to show all the evidence. My ex-wife showed up unprepared 2 times. She didn't submit her financial affidavit for more than 2 years, and when she did, it showed an increase of approximately $50,000 without computing the Social Security disability she was receiving every month from my disability. I retired as a police officer. I got disabled. In 2007, I was awarded disability with Social Security disability. So right, sir? No, sir. It was I fell on a flight of stairs responding to a terrorism call at Newark Airport. And thank you. And so
Okay, I'm gonna stop it right there. First of all, I'm gonna stop it right there because do not let these people act like they have any sympathy for you. He just told me sorry that he got hurt on the job. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. Oh, are you? Well, if you have that type of compassion for people, then surely you will take care of this matter for me that is clearly against the law. Can you help me out? But that's for some reason you can't do that though. That's why don't let these people put up a front. That's why I played Drake. They smile in your face, and but they're they're thieves. That's all they are really, and they'll act like they're trying to help you out and being nice and this and that, man. They're just it's really evil what they're doing. So that's why I played that, the whole time I want to take my place, smile in my face, straight up to my face, because they sit there and lie straight up to your face on the record. It's just that their type of lying, for the most part, even though they will straight up lie now at times, but for the most part, they just are so clever at dancing around. Anytime, as you continue to watch, anytime he really hammers down a law, Rick, when he really makes an authoritative statement about the law, he'll change the subject or kind of ask a question to make it, lose kind of some of its authoritative luster, and then Rick has to come back and reinforce it, and it's great, beautiful how he does it. That's why when he's telling you, you guys got to study my stuff, because guys, you're not going to be able to go and just take paperwork and follow instructions. You're going to have to know that paperwork. Getting in there by going off a list of instructions and barely knowing what the paperwork says, you're just expecting the law to work for you. Unfortunately, it doesn't work like that, even though it should. It should, but it doesn't. If they see you don't know, oh, they're not letting you go. Not very many of them. So just keep watching. This is, you're gonna see more, how tricky it gets and all that. And yeah, but just to my point, don't let them, not, you don't have to say anything, but don't let it fool you when they act like they actually have some sympathy for you.
My income increased because of that. Off of that, my ex-wife received 50% of that, because that's what it calls for. So she was receiving $1158 on top of the $697. Now, the arrears that were ordered, support magistrate Carr, she retroactively increased it back to 2007, the stipulation of settlement agreement. She increased it from $697 to $1131, computed it to, I guess, July 24th, and that created a $40,000 debt that I don't know. I mean, the courts are clear, the federal guidelines are clear. We're not allowed to have retroactive modification of support. So I'm just asking for this. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Just to inform. Support Magistrate Howard was hearing a petition brought by your ex.
Yes.
So that was it. Let me just say, I know you might disagree, but I believe your divorce judgment gave concurrent jurisdiction.
It doesn't. It says it's permitted by law. So, as permitted by law.
Another thing I wanted to point out. Now, all of a sudden, he's not looking at any notes. But he seems to know very thoroughly what's going on in this case. He's talking from the heart about facts he knows about in this case. Oh, that was Judge so-and-so. Oh, well, what else did he say? And now he's about to tell him why he thinks the divorce decree, or something about, the concurrent jurisdiction. He's about to explain why, what type of decision was rendered. That means he knows what's going on. He's read the information that he's needed to. And so at the beginning, and you can go back if you want, he says, "Did you get my notice of special appearance?" And he's like, "Oh, let me see." And he's fumbling around looking for 5 to 10 seconds or whatever. He knows good and damn well he got his notice of special appearance. But this is just how they act. They act like, "Oh, how could you possibly ask me about that? I thought that was some frivolous stuff. Let me see if that's in here. Oh, yeah, what is this here? I don't, they just act stupid. It's a shame."
Meaning that in order for family court to have concurrent jurisdiction, there has to be an unreasonable change of circumstances. There was none. My ex-wife's income increased substantially.
But the thing, for a change to be made in the first place, a change can only be made if there is a change of circumstance. So by support magistrate Cower making the order changing, she had to have found the change of circumstance which would satisfy that. But
did you just hear that? Oh my goodness, he just did so much double talking in legalese. But I think Rick, I'm pretty sure he had caught it. I can't remember exactly. But he did that all to make it, he was trying to put a spell on him. He was trying to make him believe that, well, let's listen again. That was pretty funny.
a change can only be made if there is a change of circumstance. So by support Magistrate Cower making the order changing, she had to have found the change of circumstance which would satisfy that.
Man, this dude just said, I'm gonna break it. I'm gonna take it out of legalese and put it in lay term. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure, Rick was probably asking, I think he was challenging the concurrent jurisdiction, which basically is challenging the jurisdiction. She didn't have jurisdiction to do what she did. And he's asking for evidence. And this guy says, so Rick says there has to be a change in circumstance. So I guess that would grant jurisdiction if there's a change in circumstance. I guess that's the point he's saying. So this guy says, for there to be, man, what did he say? Basically what he said was, how the way we have jurisdiction is because a change in circumstance occurred. Now, if you're asking for what that change was, I'm not going to give you a definite, I'm not going to provide the evidence, but what I will say is that if this order was put in, then there must have been a change. I don't know what it is, but surely the judge wouldn't have entered that order if there was no change. So that's your evidence. The fact that I'm relying on her to follow the law. And if she wrote an order, then there must have been jurisdiction. That's basically what he's saying. And that which is nothing. He's not saying anything. That's not evidence. The evidence would be a simple, probably 5 to 10 words. The evidence would be what they claim the change in circumstance was. They might have actually assumed the change in circumstance. It was because I know nothing about these laws that he's working under, but I'm just from what I'm guessing, it means when he's talking about a change in circumstance, that means like Rick made some more money and so he's got to pay more. A change in his financial circumstance. So if he got $10,000 more added from another source of income for some reason, well, that would give the court jurisdiction to reassess his child support order. Plain and simple. But they're not telling him what that change in circumstances was because there is none. First of all, they don't have jurisdiction, period. But it sounds like she was just really railroading them and she just did it because they can, because it's administrative, they just do. Whatever. He probably pissed her off. And she's such a disgusting person that she said, I'm gonna get you financially and I'm gonna destroy your life because you're asking me questions about your rights. That's what this disgusting chick did.
But if you want to talk more about that, that's fine. We're not going to decide anything today, as you well know. I have a feeling you're well versed.
I am, but
see now he, but you know we're not you know he's trying to get away from that because that's the point. You know, that's the whole point of the matter. If there's no jurisdiction, then that's a problem. That means you need to fix something right now. But he doesn't want to talk about that.
That would have been her finding.
But her finding wasn't based on any evidence. I'm pretty sure you read my paperwork, sir.
Like I said, Rick caught it right away. He said, yeah, the findings, I understand that, but they weren't based on any evidence. Where is it?
I need relief today. I mean, this was just ended 2 days ago, and then 2 days later they're telling me I owe $18,000. When is this going to end for me? I mean, sir, I've paid $143,000, and I figured out the math. I'm only supposed to be paying $49.78 a day based on $697.
That would be under the original.
Yes, sir. And then Sudeep, she $697 to $1131.
Now see how all of a sudden he don't mind talking to Rick now, because Rick's not he's not really talking about what the law says and giving it to giving them the law authoritatively. He's kind of giving background information and stuff like that on the case. So now he is like, oh, and, you know, he's got questions now. He'll talk about that, but he's not going to talk about the jurisdiction part. He wants to get away from that.
Retroactively before the date of petition.
That was weekly or bi-weekly?
Bi-weekly. So that created a debt. I figured it out, sir. I mean,
That was weekly, or about, more questions. He's interested in this topic.
I've overpaid by $66,978.
Let me ask you something. I did a check and did you go through with filing the order to vacate?
I did. I not default, so I filed an order to vacate based on lack of. I read the magistrate card's findings, sir. She's never ever defined what the change of circumstances was, and you know I would like, sir, if you don't mind, I would like to just quote a couple of appellate court and appeal court decisions.
Let me stop you.
Okay.
Oh, now the conversation's over because now Rick's about to bust some law out on him. You see that? This is what I'm talking about, guys. And I did the same thing, you know. He said, well, let me stop you. And then Rick was like, okay, you know, I did the same thing. I was trying to use some information and I asked. You know, even if I just would have went ahead and just spit it out, they might have tried to interrupt me and stop me anyways. But the point of the matter is, they didn't want to hear it. He stopped him immediately once he got to that case law.
Here's the procedural problem for you. Her order that you have the dispute with was entered on a default.
But sir, it wasn't entered at all. It doesn't exist in the clerk's office.
No, it's an order that was entered.
But it is not entered. The law states that it has to be signed by a clerk, and it has to be entered in the clerk's office in the county in which that's Family Court Act 460.
Okay, well, that's a good point.
And 28 USC 1691.
Hey, he said, okay, but he says that's a good point. Well, if first of all, it's funny because he's like, bro, stop with the law. He don't want to hear that. And then on top of that, he says that's a good point. Well, man, if that's a good point, then doesn't that mean it's true? If it's true, doesn't that mean my whole argument is true? You know, doesn't that mean you should be dismissing my case now? Or granting me relief in whatever form I'm asking? Come on.
That's a definition.
And I'm not to interrupt you. That would make them avoid judgment, meaning that they don't exist. I've been arguing this for a while, sir. I don't want to come here. I hate coming here. It's been very bad for me. You've been the nicest person I've run into.
I see, but now he engages them. Excuse me, he engages them when he's not talking about the law. It just, I don't know what he was trying to do there, but you know, first of all, he's talking to somebody else. I don't know if that's his clerk or whatever. He's talking to her. Then as soon as Rick says something kind of unrelated to the matter at hand, he jumps in and, nah, man, come on. You know, I'm telling you, it's just real flaky in there. Everything. They're just maneuvering a way to knock you off your square at all times. And this guy, he's pretty smooth. Some might not all be this good. It depends on who you got. Some might not care that much. Some might be happy that you're in there and are just waiting for somebody to wake up and come through and they'll immediately grant it for you. You never know, but the majority of them are going to give you a hard time like this. Rick backed him up pretty tight, so he's trying, he's thinking right now, he's working up a little scheme though. taking a long ass time.
We're gonna check to see if it's in the computer.
I have it right here, sir.
We're gonna check out only because some, they're
Okay, he says, okay, so we're gonna check. Then he says, well, I got it. So he ignores him the first time and says, well, we're gonna check, and he keeps going instead of him saying, oh, you have it? Well, can I see it? And then maybe if it wasn't like a totally reliable source or whatever, then he could have went and looked on the computer. But he doesn't want to acknowledge that Rick just said he has it because he's hoping he backs out of that statement so he doesn't have to what's the word I'm looking for? Look over whatever he hands him. And who knows? They might actually look it up on their own computer and be honest about it. But I have a feeling they'll probably do something dishonest and like say it says it's entered or something. I don't know.
various systems.
But you're talking about it across this, on Sutphen Boulevard over there?
No, systems within that, like, I'm thinking maybe what you printed out.
I got a response from the clerk's office. I've sent correspondence to the clerk's office.
See, this dude's talking about systems, corporate stuff, systems, and Rick's talking about, no, I'm talking about the law, brother. I'm talking about where it's required to be filed by law. I'm not talking about filed in some damn corporate system.
Yes, I do.
You see his face. You said, do you have it? Yes, I do. Ah, shit. Gotta break out his glasses for this, y'all. Yeah, he's reading that carefully. He's trying to find something he could make it sound like he could use to deceive Rick into thinking he's wrong.
What you've shown me is from the Queens County Clerk, correct?
Correct.
And on the note, on the back, it says judgment is not on file with the Queens County Clerk's office.
That's where it's supposed to be filed.
And it says,
Didn't get him with that one. Now he's gonna move on to the next one. Come on. See, he's using everything. That was easy for Rick though, but he tried to get him to misconstrue his words, by saying, well, it says here it's not filed in the clerk. He basically repeated to Rick what Rick had already told him in hoping that Rick misunderstands it, the little bastard.
check with Queens Family Court.
Well,
And then he moves on to the next thing he picked out. So yeah, and then it says, check with the Queen's Family Court. For what? Why would I check with a Title 4D corporate entity? Or a business. Why do I need to check with a business? I'm checking with the court where it's required to by law. This cat is outrageous, man.
but here's the thing, Family Court Act 460, CPLR 1516, they all very clear. Arrears and money judgments must be filed there. And the law states, without a clerk's signature, it's absent a judicial signature, it's a void judgment. I've been arguing,
Clerk of Family Court.
but they never signed anything. I have correspondence there too. It states
With the
from,
Family Court clerk?
yes, and she states.
Rick's got him cornered in so many corners that there's nothing he can stand on. Now he's looking around. He wants to see if he can disprove this.
He's never signed an order. It's at the back page. It's on the back page.
One second.
Okay.
He's talking to this chick a long time, man. They are trying to figure out what to do. Trying to figure out what to do to keep this man paying and just miserable.
Bring up SCU real fast. Can I bring up SCU real fast? I waived that in my agreement. I don't understand why I waived SCU. I mean, we're going to go by my agreement. I'm being held to this agreement. I'm have to pay for my son till he's 22. I have to do this, I have to do that. But it was waived in there. It's stated. I know all about this. When I was going through this process, I never wanted to come here. I never wanted SCU because I seen the damage they've done.
Alright, I just want to show you a little bit from his other video too. I want to point out another couple important things, and then I'm going to wrap it up. This is long as hell. For anybody who's interested though, and who's smart and who's going to use this to learn, we're getting towards the end here, so hold on.
Don't take this. You're a judge. You can vacate everything right now. I've shown you evidence that well, let me ask you this. Can you provide for me the evidence that this court has jurisdiction? I have to go there now. Let me go there. You have to show me the evidence that this court has concurrent jurisdiction to modify an agreement. Okay? The courts have well settled that stipulation of settlement agreements are individual contracts. They do not belong in family court. Okay? I'm not like the rest of the people that come here having children out of wedlock. I'm a married man. Okay? And it states in the Constitution, I'm going to say it again. I have it memorized. Okay? Article 6, Section 13, sub B4. It has jurisdiction with regards to dependents except incidental to divorce. There you go. The court has no jurisdiction.
Even if I were to find
You can't put a stay on it right now until this is figured out?
whether I put a stay, whether I put an order that says this court does not have jurisdiction and unravels it, it all has to be on papers.
Well, sir, you could do that right now because you cannot. I'm asking you politely, can you please provide me the evidence that this court has jurisdiction?
In your divorce judgment, it gives concurrent jurisdiction, the finding of the support magistrate.
Permitted by law.
Changed circumstances.
The courts.
If the court is wrong, if she's wrong, this court has to render a decision.
This judge is still sticking on the same thing, and he is saying it. First of all, let me point the fact out that Rick has now gotten more aggressive, but he's still keeping it in check, and he isn't. That's how you do it, guys. I know a lot of you trying to figure out, the subject matter jurisdiction thing. Like, why isn't it working? And I know some of y'all are probably getting pissed because I know I was pissed my first time for sure, but I just kind of got over it. They're gonna fucking play games, excuse my language, and I just accepted it, and I'm trying to learn while I'm in there so that it's a better chance to be free the next time. Because they're gonna do what they're gonna do. If however, for whatever reason, whether your paperwork's not quite right or whatever, they don't like you. Even it could be as simple as that, as wrong as that is. But I also want to point out that now this guy, he's going right back to the same thing that he already tried to convince him of, which he already defeated, and he's going to try to rely on that again to put to Rick's head that he's wrong.
This court, the motions were on today as a return date. The court will now take the motions, and the motions will be heard. May I make one suggestion? I know we talked about it before, and you didn't seem to want to do it, but to help you procedurally, if you do an order to show cause, seeking to vacate the order of...
I tried that here. They would not let me see you. I tried that 2 weeks ago here. I tried to see you to do this order to show cause.
The order to show cause to vacate would go before the support magistrate. And if the support magistrate, she would, for argument's sake, if it were to be denied.
It's going to be denied.
If
It will be. She's the most unpleasant woman I ever dealt with in my life. She doesn't, this is the greatest exchange I've ever had in this place so far.
Mr. Long, to keep it nice, please, let's not get into any sort of...
Well, she ruined my life. I mean, I'm not supposed to like a person who went out of her way to be malicious towards me. When I asked her, why did you order support for my daughter when she was out of college, her attitude was like, well, did you appeal it? I have to appeal all her wrongs? She's supposed to be a fact finder, but she doesn't get the facts right?
If and when she denies the order to vacate, then it comes here, and there'll be a decision promptly.
So I have to ask you, I have to object. I need you to show me evidence that the court has subject matter jurisdiction. The Supreme Court has stated I'm allowed to challenge jurisdiction at any time. So I have to demand that you show me the evidence that my ex-wife's circumstances has unreasonably changed since the inception of our agreement. And if you cannot provide that for me, you must vacate the order today.
That was smooth. He was very smooth. I mean, he put that out very fluently. He didn't sound like he was thinking about what he needed to say. He didn't sound like he was scared about what he needed to say. And he sounded like he knew exactly what the hell he was talking about. And that he was right. And I would take that line right there and write that down and study that and say, because, okay guys, subject matter jurisdiction, we do know that in any case, any type of court case, if there's not subject matter jurisdiction and they can't prove that there is, then that case can't be heard and it must be dismissed. That's the bottom line. And there are court decisions that say that. Supreme Court decisions and all that. Plenty of them. This is why they don't want to answer it. They don't ever really answer. They make jurisdiction sound like it's a whole bunch of things that it's not, and they make it sound really good. But Rick is not going for it. And if you're planning on asking the court to prove jurisdiction, I would use what he just said right there, and I'm gonna play it for you again. It was pretty dope. I would use it my damn self. Let's see, where was it?
Like, well, did you appeal it? I have to appeal all her wrongs? She's supposed to be a fact finder, but she doesn't get the facts right?
If and when she denies the order to vacate, then it comes here, and there'll be a decision promptly.
So I have to ask you, I have to object. I need you to show me evidence that the court has subject matter jurisdiction. The Supreme Court has stated I'm allowed to challenge jurisdiction at any time. So I have to demand that you show me the evidence that my ex-wife's circumstances has unreasonably changed since the inception of our agreement. And if you cannot provide that for me, you must vacate the order today. I cannot walk out of here without...
It was great, like I said, how he just put that down, and I would use it. I would even get a Supreme case law that states that and throw it in right where he says Supreme Court case law states, or however he put it. And I would say, Smith versus Smith, or whatever one you find. Try to find an authoritative one if you can, and put that right there. The Supreme Court case Smith versus Smith stated. Okay, guys? And then he also told the court what the jurisdiction was and why they didn't have it. Listen, if you're not going to tell me what jurisdiction is, I'll tell you what it's supposed to be. And this court hasn't met those requirements. He knows what it is, and I would know what it is too. If you're challenging jurisdiction, know what jurisdiction you want them to prove, or what element of jurisdiction specifically you want them to prove if they're acting like that. If they're acting like they don't want to talk about that, which they probably will. That was wonderful how he did that. I'm telling you guys, if you hung in in here with me this long, that right there is a jewel. You gotta recognize when you find jewels, guys. That right there is a jewel. I don't even use Rick W's paper. I use my own. But I just learned something from him, from listening to all. I listen to him. I listen to everybody. But you have to know how to decipher good and bad information. That's it. And there's a couple of channels out there that are not probably a good source of information, and you'll know that because you're gonna verify yourself the information they're teaching. And if it's right, then they're telling the truth. Okay, guys. That's it. I think at the beginning of the video, somehow I forgot to tell you why I played that song in the beginning. If I didn't, that's fine. I'm just gonna say it again anyway, so I don't play it and then talk about why I played it, but then don't explain it. I'm tired, guys. Like I said, I got a good couple drinks in me, so hey, I'm chilling. I'm trying to conversate. I'm not trying to just be. I'm trying to deliver it in a way so it comes off warm and friendly. So it's you can maybe a little more easier to accept because this information is tough to understand sometimes. But yeah, I was just playing that song because throughout that whole thing, that guy didn't he? Now when you watch him and stuff, he seems like such a nice guy. But this guy's main goal is to see if he can screw Rick and trick Rick back into thinking that they're right and he's wrong. That's the bottom line. For whatever reason, he didn't want to grant Rick what he was asking for. If it was procedurally, if it was, I don't know. Who knows what the reason is, guys. There could be a million, and they'll use a million. But he just seemed like such a nice guy. He was so polite to him. No, he wasn't a mean judge or anything. But he's still trying to rip Rick off. Plain and simple. And that's bullshit. And I thought that song connected well, man, because that song was for anybody about somebody smiling in your face and, showing fake love, which is what that song's called, showing fake love to you. That's what they're doing. They act like they're there to protect your rights and all that, showing fake love to you, but the whole time they're just raping you. Alright, guys. We're gonna leave it right there. Peace out.